Hi, host Eric here, host Talking with Famous People, and I have a new participant in attendance today, which always is exciting for me here on Talking with Famous People. And this particular participant name is Dusky Racer or INTP Red, and I'd like to begin by asking him some typing questions because although he self-identifies as INTP, I've never spoken with him before. I'm going to try to do my best to ignore the fact that I know he thinks he's an INTP and type him as though I didn't know anything about him. So, INTP Red, let me first ask you this. If you're going to go out for an evening on the town, what's the number of people that you'd prefer to go out with? Like, let's say to a movie or to dinner or something. Would it be one other person, two other people, three or more other people?
Probably one or two other people.
Okay. If you were to encounter a situation in which there's a troublesome, you're in a group of, say, 6 people, 3 males, 3 females, and a troublesome, intoxicated individual comes up and starts harassing one of the females in your group. What do you do first? Move to say something or do something, or wait to see if somebody else, one of the other males in the group moves to, or females potentially, moves to say or do something?
I'm
You
not sure.
Oh, you're not sure.
I would probably wait for a very small amount of seconds, maybe 1 to 3, and then move in. Because
Okay.
I've never encountered a situation like that.
So it's a drunk guy. He's about, let's say, 32 years old, and he smells like he's been drinking for like good 24 hours straight. You know, he's kind of stumbling around, and he approaches one of the females in the group and says, "Hey, you're pretty," and she says, "Go away," and he starts following you guys, and the other girls say, "Go away, you." He doesn't listen. So, and none of the other 2 boys take any kind of action. What do you do?
Well, I'm not fully grown yet, and I would probably take action if I thought I'd stand any chance.
So do you think action, I mean, forgetting about whether you take physical action, do you say something to the guy?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, what sort of thing do you say? Would you say, which of the following sentences would you be more likely to say? "Hey, you, go away, you," or "Will you just stop, please, mister? I don't like that." Which of those 2 sentences would you be more likely to say?
Probably the first one.
Okay. Would you be more likely to say a third sentence that's not either of those 2?
It would just be something very similar to the first sentence.
Okay. But probably less stilted in its language. I think a lot of people don't say, "Hey, you," a lot, you know. Okay, so let's ask then about the following. Which of these statements do you better identify with? "My feelings are fine. I need to worry about whether those people are getting fussy or not. I'll watch out to make sure they're happy and then everything will be cool." Or, "Those people can worry about their own feelings. I'm worried about my feelings and how I feel about this, and if I don't like the way I feel, then that's the problem. And if they're unhappy, well, they can make that clear to me."
Well, it also depends on my feelings toward those people. Like, if they're my close friends, then I'd really not like that person for showing up and bothering them.
Oh, this is a different question entirely. This is not related to that situation. It just says, in general, how do you feel about life? When you go into you go into a new room, let's say you're going to an event at the local community center for that's related to the local school board election or something. I don't know. Something really kind of dull like that, okay? But you're meeting with a lot of people of various ages and temperaments together in a room, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to make sure I like the vibe of this place and like these people myself? Or do I need to make sure these people like me?
Yeah, I would think more about myself.
Okay. Have you heard the troll question? I'll ask it quick if you haven't. If you have heard it, I won't ask it.
I don't think so.
Alright, pretend you're the mayor of a village in the Middle Ages, okay? The village is split in two. One half of the village has farms on it where they keep all the food and silos and stuff. The other half of the village is the merchant part of town where they do a little manufacturing that they do in the Middle Ages, like some blacksmithing and carpentry and stuff like that, mason work. Now, this bridge that crosses the river is how you get your food across the river from one side to the other. It's winter, though, and at the beginning of the winter, a big storm happens, and it washes the bridge away. The rest of the winter, the river is going to be a raging torrent. You won't be able to rebuild the bridge until spring. You do have boats. You can get food across the river with the boats, but now that the bridge is gone, the troll, who has been seen around before but can't seem to get people when they're on the bridge, he's in the river now, and every time anybody crosses the river, he, really quick before they can even notice, he runs up to them, steals 10% of whatever amount of food they're carrying, and runs away before they can even note that it's happened. And they go, "Hey, what happened?" And he stands over there and goes, I got your 10% food tax. So any food you got coming across this river now, it's a 10% tax. I'm going to take 10% of it. You got a sandwich? I take 10%. You got a cow? I take 10%. If it's dead. If it's alive, it can go across. It's not food. But if it's food, then that's it. Alright, so in this instance, the situation is you have enough food for the winter if the troll doesn't take the 10% tax. If he does take the 10% tax, then some of your people are going to starve. People are asking you, what are you going to do about this? So what do you do, Mayor?
I guess some people just have to starve. I would try to weigh out my options and think if...
Okay, well, the people right there are grumbling. They're like, "Hey, what do you mean? Well, you starve then. You have to starve. You're the one who has to starve then," says the grumbling people. "Solve this problem, or we'll feed you to the troll."
Do I have to handle the people, or is there another way I could possibly order them to, like...
They're following orders. They're following orders. You're the boss. They're waiting for orders. You're not giving them any. That's their problem right now. They're upset at you for not giving them orders.
Okay. Then I would, if possible, have everyone go out and try to find more food and forage and stuff.
Okay, so they go out and they forage, but they bring back some deers that they've killed. But they got them. They found them on the farm side of the river, so they still got the same problem. 10% of that. They got a little bit more food, and they're like, "Look, if we kill any more animals, we're going to decimate the game population around here. There won't be any animals left to kill and find and eat in the spring. And then what are we going to do for next winter? And what are we going to do in general? We don't want to eliminate all the animals around here, do we, boss? And we don't have enough animals because it's winter. They're all gone away anyway, pretty much, or hibernating or something. We don't have enough animals to supplement enough food to solve the problem. It made it slightly better, but that's all we could do. What do we do now, boss? There's snow on the ground, but the river's not frozen.
We could try to kill the troll.
Okay.
We'd probably also lose some people in that.
Well, that's a good observation. A lot of people don't consider that until I tell them that. So you look at the possibility of killing a troll. You get together like 20 of your strongest dudes. They're like, well, if we did a full frontal assault here, I think we're going to lose maybe 4 guys because that's a big-ass troll. He's like 18 feet tall. He's got like pointy, thorny things poking out of him. And he's got skin as thick as the thickest leather. And yada, yada, yada. Shit like that. But they're all men of honor, and they're willing to go battle for the well-being of the community and take their chances if that's what you want to do. Is that what you want to do?
Not really great at strategies, so I'm not sure if...
I think you're doing an excellent job of strategizing by looking at different options before committing to something right now.
Yeah, but I'm not great at really quickly finding a way to maybe take it out from range. So if I couldn't find any other options, then I might just charge it as a way of justifying the 10% of inevitable death.
Right. Okay. Well, I think that's a fine solution. A lot of people do go with the kill the troll solution. A lot of people go there quicker and with a little bit less hesitancy than you do. There are other solutions. There's no perfect solution. I think there is one, but it's very complicated. It involves really factoring time frame a lot. Because, you see, one reality is that you can move the food across the river. Almost no people... I mean, you can move the people across the river. You don't have to move the food. Almost nobody determines that. Occasionally somebody does. But even if they do, they have an additional problem, which is, well, what are we going to do? We're going to move the people 3 times a day. It's going to be a big hassle. They're going to burn more calories, going to use more food. And so then the ultimate solution ends up being, to the extent there was one, well, poison is a great answer. Killing the troll may be the best answer if you want to kill the troll. If you have ethical concerns about killing trolls, some people do, then possibly a better answer is to move the people for a week or so, see if that makes the troll go away since he has no food, and yada, yada, yada. But regardless, that was an interesting approach to your answering it, Dusky Racer. So I've got a couple more typing questions that I want to ask you before drawing any conclusions about your type. Zachary, is that host Zachary? Or some other Zachary? I don't know. Anyway.
It is I.
Oh,
Host
well,
Zachary.
feel free to chime in with any typing questions as well, host Zachary, on this one. So, let me ask you this. As far as truth, is it discovered or created, INTP Red?
My first gut feeling is discovered.
Okay. Now, Zachary, for your FYI, INTP Red has come in with his name and identifies as INTP, but I've never actually spoken to him before. I've commented a little bit with him. And so I'm just asking typing as though I didn't have any idea regarding his type. Does the neighboring village ever get rid of the other troll? And can I bribe my troll to take up residence in their town for a fee that ensures that we have adequate food? Okay, Lorenz Walker, this is an important issue indeed that you raise regarding the nature of the other village's troll, which came into existence the other night when we were doing an INFP typing. But regardless, let's address that a little bit later. Let's move forward with Homie here. So, do you feel as though you're better with auditory stuff or visual stuff?
In what way?
Okay, are you better at drawing pictures or singing songs? No matter
Drawing pictures.
Drawing pictures? Okay. Do you think that it's better to eliminate possible confusing things and crystallize something down to a single truth? Or do you think it's better to look at an existing truth and take it apart and show ways in which it's not actually true?
I guess the second one.
Okay. How easy is it for you to take action on ideas that you have?
Not extremely.
Not extremely easy. Okay. Do you find you have a lot of ideas that you think are probably good ideas, but that you don't really want to pursue them because they're not good enough? Or do you find the same thing because there might be better ideas that you're waiting to still find out about? Or you aren't sure, or something like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't be sure. There might be better ways.
There might be a better way. So you're waiting to find the perfect way to do something before you do anything. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Zachary, do you have any questions for this person? I was leaning INTJ for a while. I'm leaning back INTP. I wonder if, as an INTP, you have any insights onto how we might make sure to finalize or find a way to finalize that distinction. And as far as our own conclusions go, obviously it's up to you, Dusky Racer, to determine your own type as you see fit, and you don't have to listen to anybody else about it at all. But Zach, do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't think I've heard enough of them to come to a decisive conclusion.
Well, what I'm asking is, do you have any good questions to help distinguish between INTJ and INTP? Or anybody else in attendance have any? Are you likely to leave small objects at home when you go to school? He's on the younger side, Zachary, by the way.
14. That's how old I am. Yeah, if it's not, like, sometimes but very rarely I'll leave a whole backpack at home. But if it's not in my backpack, or the binder that I use instead of a backpack, then a lot of times, yes, I will leave it, like a book.
Do you guys ever just go to school in your pajamas and be like, what the fuck? Did I forget to put on clothes?
No.
I wore clothes inside out a lot before. Yeah, that's pretty
ENTPs have a similar problem. What we do that ENTPs is we get our buttons wrong. So the button's in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I've done that a lot, yeah.
Okay,
Or like you leave the belt, like you put your belt on, but you accidentally put it over one of the loops.
yeah, that too. Those sort of things are details that we can't really be bothered with.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, here's the thing. So, do you generally do pretty well in school, or are you just like, this is too much of a waste of my time, I'm just not even going to care? But do you do well anyway, or do you not care and not do well?
I don't care, but it's usually easy in everything except for math. Math, I'm kind of pretty average, but everything else is really easy, and so sometimes I won't care, but I'll still get low, high 80s, maybe low 90s, around that area, depending on the...
That sounds like an INTP to me.
I'm trying to think of some questions. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what you've asked yet.
Well, I asked about social stuff. The one area that led me to INTJ was he said he thought truth was discovered, and he also said he was more visual than auditory in general. He's better at drawing pictures than singing songs. Now, Zachary is somebody who does both of them pretty well. I guess maybe that's less obviously true for the INTP than the ENTP. I think the ENTP is more purely auditory, and the INTP is blessed with a little bit more access to both, probably. But that may just be a generalization. I don't know if that actually is how.
I think visuals are just sort of training wheels. I think we're primarily auditory, but visuals are kind of training wheels for learning, like the skills and stuff.
Huh. Well, how do you feel about music in general, INTP Red?
I'm not hard set on music. Sometimes I'll find a song that I really like and I'll play it, and then I'll play it too much, and then I usually don't really listen to music that often, but sometimes I'll get into the...
You listen to
groove.
How often do you rewatch movies or re-listen to songs?
I don't really rewatch movies at all. Unless there's a deficiency in movies and I'm really bored. But
So if you feel like you need to watch a movie, you watch a movie.
Well, if there's nothing else to do and there's just a movie on
Right.
TV and I don't feel like just too lazy to go outside, then I may just watch the movie.
Well, I'm having a hard time distinguishing here between INTJ and INTP. You're very terse, but a lot of INTPs are very terse as well. And you are a little bit younger in your stage of development. I normally don't like to weight onto that because I like to try to be as egalitarian as possible and assume that to not say, well, things are different for you because you're a different age. I don't like that attitude in general. So, but I'm having trouble distinguishing here. I guess I'm leaning INTP. I guess we got.
I found out
Go ahead.
about 4.5 days ago that I was an INTP, and I've been pretty much
So you just discovered
researching it
this
ever
stuff.
since.
Okay, so you just discovered the stuff and you've been researching it. Okay. Interesting. What do you think you found so far that's resonated with you, and what do you think you found so far that doesn't resonate with you?
I've found a lot of things that I've kind of hinted towards. I've confirmed a lot of things that are true to INTPs that I've known, and I've found out a lot of things that I haven't really found out before.
Okay, have you looked into INTJ type descriptions at all?
No, it's primarily been INTPs.
When you're
Okay.
approaching a new subject, would you prefer to start from, let's say you're approaching a new subject of like academia, would you rather start with a bird's eye view of like the different categories and then go in and fill in the blanks afterwards, or would you rather start from one spot and then sort of branch out from there?
Possibly the like looking at everything, but I would kind of like to focus on one thing primarily, with maybe secondary references, and kind of learn about it and all eventually.
Well, what I'm asking is, would you rather have an idea of all of the different possibilities before you jump in and start focusing on one area, or would you rather just start with one area and then
Can I
develop the other?
Can I ask it in a slightly different way, Zachary? Because I like the question a lot. I didn't want to interject previous, but I think that rephrasing it might help. If you say, would you rather be to know all the intricate details of a specific subtopic area or system, or would you rather have a better sense of where that system fits into with systems as a whole?
Well, it's kind of.
You can't say both. I know you want to say both.
I know, but one's like fitting it in categories, but one is also fitting it into categories without being able to fit it into categories in other ways. It's like fitting it, a part of it, into every other category, or fitting all of it into one category, or categorizing it itself. And I may like to categorize the one part into everything else that I've previously known, or unrelated topics, or slightly related sister topics.
Zachary?
Do you feel that information reveals more about the world or more about the subject in its context?
The subject.
I think that's a more accurate answer, but it's not necessarily revelatory because I think one of those is more accurate than the other. It's a great question, but I think the latter one is the more accurate answer. The former is the more aspirational answer. So it'll depend what level your TI is at as to how that's going to reflect on. And his seems high. It might be INTP. But he's expressing everything as like hold-ons, like Negro would say, INTJ style. You're awfully careful, or you're awfully INTJ. One of the two.
I'm trying not to
Sound dumb.
Well, yeah, but
That's true of both types, though. It's not really very helpful.
it's not really a huge problem. What I'm trying not to do is base my answers off of what I have gathered about INTPs.
Oh, that's a much smarter thing to do.
Yeah.
That again, those things are both characteristics of INTP and INTJ. You know, it's like both those two types are likely to do what you just said. ENTPs are likely to say what I just said. Any help from
Let's
me?
say you come across two facts that contradict each other in their nature. How might you approach dealing with that?
I would probably try to see how they contradict each other, but it's hard for me to think about this without having an example.
All right. Well, let's give you two aphorisms. Silence is golden, and freedom of expression is a cherished right. These are two axioms that would seem on some level to contradict each other. How would you reconcile those apparent contradictions?
I would say that they are both true at different times, because everyone can be ignorant to information, but also sometimes, well, sometimes people just get overwhelmed and they need for other people not to speak, and they're just really annoyed. But sometimes it's a good thing because they can be in a state of ignorance.
Okay. So sometimes too many words annoy you, huh? If that's necessarily an introvert thing, it sounds more INTJ than INTP in general. Do you sometimes, when you're reading stuff or hearing conversations, for example, I'm talking with famous people, I've noticed you watch at least a few episodes of it, which I appreciate, thank you. But do you find, like, you guys are just parsing, you guys are just splitting hairs, you guys are just engaging in pointless sophistry. Do you find yourself concluding that periodically, or not?
I was trying to understand what you said, and I kind of
Well, I think
got skewed.
INTJs sometimes go, okay, you're at this point, they're more likely to get to the point where they say, all right, Eric, you're just splitting hairs, you're just engaging in semantics, none of this stuff really means anything, it's not being practical enough, it's not directed towards any concrete end. INTJs are more likely to draw that conclusion at some point in some conversations. INTPs are more likely to continue being open towards any new insights they encounter, and then want to retreat with all those new insights, process them for a while, and then return for more new insights. Or to come back and say, no, these insights you gave me before were false, and here's why. I processed them now. I think INTP is much more likely to do that. INTJ is looking for the point of everything. That's INTP answer to that, Charles Barkley's French Poodle.
I have been kind of wanting to think about what you said more, but not but it's more of and I I don't want to give up. I kind of want to find out the answer and want to think about it more.
Okay. Well, to me, that lends you more towards the INTP camp and away from the INTJ camp. I think the way in which you're expressing yourself, even though it's very terse and concise like the INTJ, you actually sound like an INTP in the vocal cadences, which is to say, you go like what I just did. Like NTPs talk more like that. NTJs don't have that cadency, lilty-ish quality to it.
I read that a lot of INTPs, when they speak before their thought is finished, and that's what I'm doing, and that's why I have to pause and think about it, because sometimes I'll get in the hang of it, and then it'll go somewhere, and I'll have to think about it, and it'll stop me for a second.
Talk before the thought is finished is a good question to ask from future interviews. On that note, let's end this one. I'm pretty convinced at this point he's an INTP, unless Zachary, you want to interject something else before we stop.
Nah, it sounds like an INTP, man.
Yeah, this is a long episode anyway, 30 minutes. Thank you very much, INTP Red, also known as Desk Eraser, for your highly insightful answers to things. I really enjoyed that. And thank you at home for watching Talking to Famous People. Please, most importantly, don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.